They're taking away the Sejuani. There's still like the Rel open, the Vi open, the Nocturne open. They have a lot of options, and they can kind of ensure that DRX don't really get a good choice on this one.
Yeah, we'll see whether DRX take away something like the Seraphine next up, or whether it's the Tahm Kench, which could certainly still fit the bill. The Poppy going to be removed as well, and there goes the Nocturne. So
Nocturne.
At least eliminating that part of the dive threat.
Yeah, Nocturne Nico is super strong. I think in this situation, I feel like Vi makes a lot of sense for T1 here, but they could hold off in the jungle.
Jarvan also could work theoretically.
Yeah, I think Jarvan pretty good into Xayah. Not as good into Corki, though.
What about Briar?
Yeah, I think you just go for the Vi. I'm going to be honest. And in terms of, obviously Vi isn't... Oh, actually not going to go for it all. Going to go for the Viego.
That's a Viego.
Viego, yeah. Halfway there.
Yeah. It's Vi with some extra steps.
But they clearly want strong skirmishing power early, not leading into the tank junglers. So DRX, you already have a pretty weak mid laner who's going to need some time to get going. You need to be able to match up to Ona in the jungle if you're going to have a hope here. I like the K'Sante, especially into the Aatrox. You saw how much threat he was on the flank. The Aatrox can kind of just say, the K'Sante can kind of say no to the Aatrox and just drag him away into a dark corner and beat him up.
That is the hope. That is what DRX are going to go for here as Sponge's pick. That's what we're looking for. What is it going to be is the question. You mentioned something to deal with the Viego. Rel, also just something that Sponge is happy to play. Does help with their team fight at the same time. And Rel Rakan is something that we have seen work to pretty great effect in the past as well. So a well-rounded composition here from DRX. And you might look at it and be like, oh, but Xayah doesn't have a whole lot of range. They have Corki, so who cares?
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of the threats from T1 are going to be coming into you. I do think the Rel might feel a bit difficult to play. Playing Peel as Rel is definitely possible, but a bit trickier than it is just playing that straight engage role we often see, but I think it's fine. I feel like Game 1 and Game 2...
Oh, I love it!
DRX have really been okay, but, we know that the Corki's going to be a problem later in the game. Now you have this super scaling bot lane of the Ornn and the Senna. And realistically, I don't see a Xayah Rakan providing that much threat to them.
And the Senna Ornn is something that we saw Deft and Barrel play already, but what I wanted was the sneaky swap. Because Zeus' Ornn is so good, and he could just play tank v tank there towards the top side of the map and still do a good job, and then play Senna Aatrox in the bottom lane.
I'm not sold.
Not sold?
Not sold. Yeah. I don't think Aatrox will have too much fun in that bot lane matchup. Whereas Ornn, I feel like Ornn's kind of just chilling.
Yeah, he is. And wants to get the extra levels as well. So if Gumayushi just leaves Carrier alone for a little bit, then you could be getting to that level 14 mark, handing out all of the ornaments, having a great time. A little bit earlier on in this particular game. So a fun draft here for T1, but they have, ran the Corki risk. And a Corki risk is something that we worry about. Here in the LCK, because Corki's really, 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 really mega strong.
Yeah.
Satab has also been a Corki player in the past. For DRX Challenges, he was one of the players that was around during the big Corki meta, in the Ludens and the silly items being picked up. So, an opportunity here for Satab to strut his stuff on the Rift with the big Corki. Let's get into Game 2. All right, here we are onto the Rift for the second game of our first series of the day. DRX moving towards the blue side now with the Corki composition.
Yep.
A composition that T1 have destroyed in the past. In fact, the final day that both of these teams played last week was exactly the day that it happened.
I feel like a big thing with Corki comps is it all becomes about the dragons. Just because once you start getting the package, you start syncing it up. If T1 can get the early dragons, it kind of slows down the soul stacking. It means you can opt out if there's not a good setup. If someone eats, a big one, takes a bit of poke. But something that I think is a really effective strategy against Corki teams is being able to start up a Baron when the package isn't available.
Yeah.
And T1, if anything, are a very Barony team.
They are Barony, quite Barony. I'd agree with you. We were having the discussion in the last game, in fact. Sponge moves on over. He's going to be spotted on a ward there as he starts off on his blue buff. Mirrored starts here on both sides, though. Blues across the board. As Faker should have a fair bit of control in this lane early on, of course. Corki known for his ability to do damage later, not earlier.
Yeah, no, looking to challenge really early already. I mean, that's the thing, you know, like you're into a tank jungler and a Corki mid-jungle.
Ooh, vertical.
I think being aggressive is going to favor T1, but yeah, just a quick response from Sponge just to answer back.
Really good defensive vision that DRX have put down earlier on as well. Does mean that Sponge knows that he can do this immediately.
Oh,
and immediately pathing.
Yeah, he realizes.
Grubs. Interesting.
Like, Ona didn't even have... I think he had the information from the blue buff, and he saw Sponge heading over, and instantly moves to defend his Raptors, so... Yes, Sponge will get a camp. It's a camp for camp, but Sponge ended up using a lot of time just walking up here, and Ona a bit ahead into him.
Ooh, that's a flash from Carrier very early on here. Fleta playing aggressively. You love to see it as DRX's bottom lane once again.
And the thing is, once you get a few levels on Ornn, you know, you have your dash, you have your W to, like, if you use it when the Rakan goes in for a W, you can cancel out the CC. You're a lot safer, but level 1 is definitely a vulnerability, and Carrier kind of just gets caught out there.
It's nicely done. Faker as well, trading very well against Setab in this mid lane. Setab just really wanting these minions to come a little closer, as the Blooming Burst is just frustrating for this Corki to deal with.
Should be able to recall and get a...
Oh, that was sneaky.
You know, the sad thing is that if Setab just held his nerve, he was fine there.
Yeah, he did move a very, 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 very small amount, so maybe that was just enough to move him out of the way. His Grand Entrance once again. No flash here from Carrier. It could be another first blood for DRX as he's burning. The flash comes through and Carrier walks it off. Oh, it's so close here for DRX on the bottom side, and Carrier has teleport. He can just be straight back here.
Yeah, a bit of a heartbreaker there, honestly, for DRX. Carrier kind of misplaying on the Ornn there, tries to use the dash to avoid the W, and it just gets interrupted. It nearly backfires. But the fact is, you end up getting Teddy's sums as a reward, just because it was a little bit of a miscalculation. Oh.
That was cute.
Yeah, managed to get it in time.
Makes their way out, and of course, they can do that together, which is handy. Setab has teleported back to the lane. 17 to 30, though. Faker is really having a great time. Rascal able to dash out of the way of the Infernal Chains. So this is what the space was kind of talking about, and that is that naturally T1 are just doing a lot more winning. As Setab, that's an aggressive move. Fleta is here, though. Looks for the knockup. Does get it there onto Faker. Just on the edge, in fact. So nicely done. Able to trade back nicely, but you can see Setab just teleporting back now, doesn't have a bunch of his health, and Faker in a similar boat, to be perfectly honest, but Setab with just the tier stacking up in comparison to the 2 books. Faker is well read. He is known for his reading of books, but he is going to be able to do so in lane as well. And oh man, catches him right on the end as Setab going aggressive. Faker, just flashes. Picks that one up. I believe that was the empowered auto there as well. And so Faker, first blood, solo kill.
Just way too ambitious from Setab. I think kind of overestimating his damage. Bear in mind, he had just a tier compared to the 2 amp tomes. I think he was hoping for just a little bit more in that trade to try and turn it around. Very aggressive play from both sides. But Faker ends up coming out ahead and adds 1 more to that kill tally.
Only 6 to go before 3,000. Just such a huge milestone. Not sure when we're ever going to see another player make it to it. Would like to have sort of the list of players and the numbers that they're up to, because I imagine everyone's pretty far away from where Faker's at, just given the longevity and the fact that Def took some time in the LPL.
Yep.
As another one. Faker just finding these tangle barbs over and over again.
I think as well, there's a lot of supports who have a ton of games, but obviously supports aren't really getting kills.
No.
So definitely role dependent as to who gets...
It took a very long time for people to catch up to Gorilla. That is very true. I believe Lehen's only just crested his assists. It took a very, very long time. Lehen's been playing for a while as well as Carrier. Able to get out of the way of the CC, utilizing his Bellows Breath. Pretty handy ability.
Learn from last time when he tried to go for the dash instead. And that's kind of the thing is that, you know, Senna can just play at max range, hard to really pressure here, and the Ornn can just buffer the W from Rakan every time. So it's a pretty safe lane, and if you have a safe lane with Senna Ornn, you're in a good spot.
Oh yeah. Let's have a look at this one more time. This was... The Valkyries that Setab have been going for have been ambitious.
Yeah, and the problem is he takes full procs off the Q from Faker, so the E just clips him, and then he takes 3 hits off the Q. I think if any of those had missed, you know, maybe if he had flashed in or flashed over the root or something, I could see it going a bit better, but
yeah,
if you're taking 3 from the Bursting Bloom, then you're just not going to win.
And we saw that that was exactly the case. As Gumayusi slinks off into the fiery mist here. And Rel not going to be able to find too much. Zeus not able to find the CC, but a fair bit of damage onto Rascal here, who doesn't get the 3rd Q. And a back to come down from Owner as well. Level 6 now on the Viego. Sponge looking for his. Should be next camp or maybe a couple more camps. You see Owner is very far ahead. That's 4 camp lead here for the Viego. Similar to what we saw from Cuz yesterday, actually. Really mopping up the jungle.
Yeah, that's the thing is Viego can just clear quite fast if he's left to his own devices, which he really has been here. But it's this entire top side. You know, we have like a 20 CS in all 3 lanes.
Ooh, another Bellow's Breath going to be used, but Carrier takes a fair bit of damage. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I was just saying, there's like a 20+ CS lead in top, about 25, 20 CS lead mid, and as you just said, the big camp lead in the jungle. So really, this top side of the map for T1 kind of running away with the game, just having lane gaps.
Yeah, all over the place. Gumayusi and Carrier as well are sharing CS, so the lead that could have occurred on the bottom side for Teddy is just not really there. The sharing has sort of really helped out. And so Gumayusi Carrier, they're also ahead. They'll have more money as well, definitely, because Teddy does not have a World Atlas. And Fleta going to go aggressive. There is still the Corki, right? The Corki factor exists. But the problem is that he just may not get to the Eclipse, Malignance, Mirror Mana situation, as Gumayusi does have to use the flash. There's a Feather Storm as Carrier trying to get himself out of the way, calls the Ram, and they still manage to get the knock-up. Owner finds the stun, max range. Oh. Dawning Shadow flies forward as well, and Owner, he helps them pick up their 2nd kill of the game and continues to go aggressive here, moving into the enemy jungle.
Honestly, 2nd game in a row where like Owner's made a bot play and they kill Teddy, and then Owner actually nearly kills Pleta, but like he flashes away last second just to stay alive. Kind of feels a bit of deja vu here, and now Sponge's going to be able to defend his red buff, but really solid play coming out from T1, and this was the lane that was doing best for the DRX, and they've now just lost a couple of plates and had that kill go over to the Ornn. Bit of a disaster.
It really is. Let's have a look at it one more time, as it looked okay here, and getting the flash out of Gumayusi really important.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing that in isolation is a positive play for DRX, but Owner's coming down, the ult comes to follow up, Teddy flashes badly, unfortunately, still gets caught, and then here, Owner actually goes for the ult on the Pleta, tries to catch him off guard, but Pleta is quick with the flash, so could have been a 2-0 there in terms of kills, but a nice response by the Rakan. And just unfortunate for DRX. Like I said, good execution in 2v2, but League of Legends in a 2v2 game.
It definitely isn't. And last time around, it was DRX that had the 2-0 lead as far as kills, and this time around, it is T1. They still have the massive CS advantages and just general global advantages around the map. And Blooming Burst not going to hit Satab too many more times. Level 8 now, so does have his rockets available.
And this is one of these situations where Satab has gone the Hex Drinker, which I think is the objective right decision when you're having this much trouble in the lane matchup. But it's just going to delay your spike. It's just going to stall out the point at which this Corki becomes strong, which is always a rough feeling, because I feel like DRX are really banking on that level 16 Corki with 3 items.
Yeah. And T1 can only continue this now as well. With the Void Grubs that they've picked up, you can see Zeus unleashing the mites on the turret as well. And yeah, bad to worse is where I feel like this one's going. Carrier taking a bit of damage here from Teddy, but he's been somewhat muted after that initial kill, as that's the wrong Faker. Sponge looking for something here, but Satab just pushed all the way out, and the Rel's not really going to be able to interact. Owner moving over, that is going to deny Satab's recall once again. I think that's like the 5th recall that Satab's been not allowed to do.
Yeah, and the thing is, Satab, we know the Dragon's up, so him recalling, if he can pick up the package, would allow them the possibility to contest this. They've already secured 1 Dragon, but T1 is going to move in pretty quickly. Oh my, it's huge, because the Dragon's just going to go down before he gets back.
Yep.
Bear in mind, he has no TP, he just has to fly back over.
And Sponge, he's here, and he knows what's going on, and he knows that there's absolutely nothing he can do about it. See what the soul is going to be. as this one Cloud is going to be taken down, and 2 games in a row. It's going to be Hextech Soul. It's a lot of value, as that's the right direction. Satab able to get himself out of the range of another Q from Faker if it was to come in. So keeps himself alive. And yeah, it's 2-0. Not a lot of kills, but you can see in the gold at the top of your screen, DRX are just slowly but surely falling apart.
Yeah, and this Corki is so far away from being relevant that I feel like it's just kind of fruitless to talk about. Really, it's kind of looking at when is Teddy going to be strong, because that seems like a more immediate factor. But when you have like this Ornn to cut through, who's pretty close to already having a frozen hard, it's going to be a rough time.
Yeah. Awesome. Void Might's heading towards the turret here as Faker going for a back and cancels it in the end. So an opportunity here for the bottom lane lying in wait. Faker gets that shove. Teddy is going to move into the lane, and Faker is going to go away. So he does have Shape Splitter, so that means that that is not going to be an issue. But now with the bottom lane in mid, this outer turret is not long for the world. Plates going down left, right, and center, and I don't know whether Satab can really offer too much.
Yeah, and the fact it's a 6 Void Grub game.
Yeah.
You know, the Void Grubs, I feel like, as far as objectives go, haven't felt the most impactful since the introduction. But if a team is ahead and they get 6, the extra tower taking ability is pretty severe. And it just means you have to be so sharp. If you leave a window open, they will just charge in. And, you know, there wasn't even that much time where Corki wasn't present bot to defend the tower, and that was enough for 2 plates to go down.
And that was right before they are set to fall as well. We've got about 40 seconds until those plates are gone, and all of them have been defended outside of 1 here for T1. And that early push from DRX, certainly a good thing, but just not really feeling like enough to get them any sort of meaningful lead. And we mentioned, you know, the fact that Corki is sort of just a scaling composition by himself, as the package was picked up.
Oh, no.
And then he's spotted on a ward.
But, like, what is the point of taking package now?
Well, so that you can get out of this. Nailed it. Sponge going to look for a bit of a shattering strike here. T1 are going to be able to push them away. So, okay, Feather Storm going to be used. Pop Blossom comes down, and that is a dead rel. Nicely picked up there, and Faker grabs yet another one. Good grand entrance, though, as there is the Heartbreaker flash to get Owner out of there. He should be all right, as Carrier takes another turret shot as well. Ooh, Faker taking a lot of damage underneath this turret as well, but should mean that T1 can escape, and it's just Sponge that does go down. Yeah,
no real MR on Sponge yet, and a lot of magic damage coming out there from Faker. Just kind of gets blown up. 5,000 now the gold lead. You can see 1,000 gold extra picked up from the plates from T1, making a massive difference.
Yeah, just kind of ridiculous.
But I just feel like the most frustrating thing is that DRX still have a game plan, which is play for package around dragons and try and make that a thing, but you've just desynced it. So now either you skip next dragon and wait for the following one to have package, or if you just keep picking it up off cooldown, it's never going to be synced again.
Nope. I also just don't really like the whole situation at all, but maybe desperation here from Satab wanting to try and win some sort of skirmish. But T1, they managed to win that, and now they're pushing even further. This inner turret, man, that would be pretty backbreaking as far as an advantage. And Carrier is also just using his hammer on this inner turret in the bottom lane, and there's no one there to answer.
Yeah, he's actually probably just going to get that with some support from his AD carry.
Yep. Gumushi should, like, a couple of autos. Oh, just 1 and a Q.
Yeah, this is not going well.
I'm going to put it in the cons column, absolutely, when it comes to DRX early games.
Okay, now they're going top.
Yeah, Ona is going to be able to get Satab here. Does use the flash, but there's the stun. And is he able to do anything? The answer is no, and he also gives the assist over towards Gumushi as well.
Yep, well, really nicely played. It's Satab's items in his inventory kind of look like a mess. You have a Tear, a Caulfield, and a Hex Drinker.
Yep.
And here, you know, Carrier just goes for the flash stun. They're not able to burst out Satab in time, but you get rid of the package in here. I mean, that minion's pathing was a little bit sus. You should have suspected that. Sponge just getting caught out, and again, the magic damage doing so much when he has no magic resist yet.
Yeah, and Faker collects another kill as well, so he is, I believe, only 5 away at this point in time. And we're even going to check this one out. Ona just going to be ulting right on top of Satab. Gets the stun in the end, and the Dawning Shadow helps out.
Yeah, everything just hits, you know? Pretty close to not being able to get it. If anything didn't connect there, then you got to think that Satab could have gotten away, but everything connects. They get it, and now a free dragon. No package to worry about here.
And look at these money differences. They are very, 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 very large. Obscenely large. I'm really glad that it was only up for a little while, because that was...
You know what's the biggest thing for me?
What's
is that Teddy is 100 CS up on Gumayusi, and he's down in gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Carrier is up a lot of thousands as, okay, that's a decent engage here from Pleta, finding Zeus, doing a fair bit of damage. Sponge also moving in, but really not getting the Magnet Storm onto anyone that he really wants. Maybe not enough metal players on the side of T1. They are just going to have to back away.
They get Zeus' flash, but like as far as summoners to get, I feel like Zeus' flash is kind of low down in the tiers. Plus, the problem is, Dragon's in like 4 minutes 30, so his flash will be back up in time for the next Dragon.
Yep.
And yeah, you can see that just everyone on T1 is ahead of everyone on DRX apart from Teddy. Teddy has slightly more gold than Ona, which I'm not even sure is a copper lining.
Yeah, no, there's the linings are not looking great. For anything at all, as Gumayusi already doing a fair bit of damage here, as we can see. Taking a lot also, as, oh, not quite enough for the dash cannon Pop Blossom, but the knockups are going to be there as the Ram comes in. And T1 kind of okay with this. They're just going to push them away from this inner turret and further line their coffers with global gold. We are approaching a 10,000 gold lead pre-20 minutes.
Rather a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Quite a substantial...
I would say in the business we call that a big lead.
Yeah.
I think that's what we call it.
Corki has finished the Manamune, so 2 more items to go.
Yeah.
Not looking so hard.
Maybe next game. Maybe next game you can get those extra items.
Yeah.
Because it's not looking like it's going to be something that you're going to be allowed to do.
You know, and as far as anti-Corki strategies, getting a 10,000 gold lead and then subsequently destroying the Nexus,
that's
probably pretty effective.
Why didn't all of these other teams think of this?
Yeah,
you know?
It seems so
It was right there in front of us. Oh, I don't even... Why was I complaining about Corki this whole time?
It's
very,
that
very
simple.
silly.
That's straightforward.
Well, Shelly still yet to be used here by Sponge. He wants to find some sort of lane that he can actually get meaningful damage. And there it is. It's this bottom lane.
You know, considering how much they lost to get the Herald, like they lost bot tier 2
and mid
damage on mid tier 2, yeah, they don't even get bot tier 1. I'm going to go with not worth.
I'm going to say not worth. They're also then here for Ona to rotate down. The rest of the team also coming in. There's a Magnet Storm from Sponge as we have a look towards the top side. Pleta finds the quickness. They're looking to lock down Carrier, but...
Does he take damage?
No, not really. He's just trying to turn it around, gets a Feather Storm, and continues walking at them menacingly. Look at him, just trudging down the rift, breaking his own things, and just not really worried about anything at all. Brittle, not going to be proc there onto Sponge, but he also just takes way too much damage as Faker is going to look to support. And now Zeus wanting to find Satab, and he'll find him. And that is a real scary one. Flash does come out, but I don't know whether Satab can escape this. Where's the Valkyrie?
7 seconds.
Yeah, he's really dead.
I don't think you get that long.
And look at the scratch of the head on the player cams there as well. You can see Satab not really happy about how this game is going whatsoever. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't Zeka's fault. Maybe it was. Maybe it's just T1 are too good at dealing with Corki comps. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, I think the chances of Sponge stealing this pretty
limited.
low.
Yeah, limited.
Those probes, though, maybe no, he doesn't even get those.
All right, well, the Ram comes down. They do manage to catch Pleta here as Ona looks for a little bit more CC. Heartbreaker comes down. Rascal going to be the next target here as Teddy takes the base gate. Yep, Faker is after him. There's a Pop Blossom. Teddy able to avoid that. And that will be able to keep him safe. But he needed Ghost and he needed Flash in order to get out of it. Didn't have Feather Storm, but would have needed that as well. Yeah, could have pressed that button. Pleta still running for his life. Sponge doing the same thing. And yeah, this is a difficult game here for DRX at this point in time. Pleta is going to die. That is going to be a kill going over to Owner. Now Rascal fighting alongside Satab against Zeus. 2 versus 1. I'm almost favoring the 1 here, but it is going to be Rascal picking it up in the end. As Carrier turns up just a little bit late, and Faker is a little bit distracted by winning the game by the looks of things. Still needs a few more kills like Faker.
He's been hunting for them. You've seen him trying.
Yeah. But you don't win the game, then you definitely can't get the kills.
Yeah, there are more important things at stake right now.
No, precisely. As Rascal going to turn it here. Carrier going to flash on over, and yeah. Gumushi turns up. He's going to protect his better half. And now, you can see Carrier just going to go back home. Satab may just die here, as yeah, that's a bunch of buttons in his face. And Gumushi locks down a solo.
Yep. Bad to worse, I think, is kind of how I'd... 12,000 is the goal, and 3 dragons would have been a Hextech soul.
Yeah, this is a vacuum lining, or a void lining, abyssal lining.
I think
there's no lining that's good.
I think vacuum lining. I think
you're okay with that.
I think that's how I would describe it. Yeah, that's what I'd go for.
It's not great. Carrier is split pushing.
The thing is, no one's even nearby.
No one's here. Where is everyone?
Where is DRX?
Well, they're not mid. That's dead.
Well, there's one of them.
Yeah, there we go. So Rascal is going to find Carrier, and Carrier is going to ignore him. I'm pretty sure Rascal pressed a button, but I'm not entirely sure. Pop Blossom going to be channeled here as Sponge is going to dive on into it. Looks for a last-ditch attempt as Faker goes golden. He picks up another kill here. That's his 3rd for the game, but he will end up going down. Good package there from Satab, and now he's on the wrong side of this one. Knockup is going to come through onto Zeus. Blade Caller is good, and Zeus will be taken down. But now the Cavalry will turn up. There's another Corki. That's a decent way of dealing with it, I guess. But he's going to take a lot of damage. Teddy on the fountain is kind of looking like his old self as that fountain laser. But still, these Nexus turrets are going to be turned to. Carrier looks for the dive forward. Good Featherstorm there from Teddy to avoid him. But now the Nexus will be taken down, and T1 going to look for that swift 2-0. They will find it. Carrier will die. T1 will get the job done in the end. Decent little dash there from Owner, and he keeps himself alive at the last second. So, not able to get to 3,000 kills, but congratulations to Faker on the 600 wins. And also, congratulations on T1 for an early trip home.
Yeah, I mean, they really were just very dominant. I feel like game 1, it was close for a bit, but game 2, they just completely annihilated them.
Yes. They did not mess around, and they also very deliberately left that Corki open, is what it felt like to me. I think Faker may at least get an interview after this one. It was a great game for him. As you can see here, 600 wins. We'll need another best of 3 to get the 3,000 kills, but I have a feeling